Okay, so first thing that we're going to talk about is an addition to the class, an addition. And this is something that I think will help you out when it comes time to understand what you're supposed to learn. And when it's about time for the test, it'll help you understand what you do know and what you don't know. All right, and so if you go ahead, log into Canvas and go to today's module. These are called Mastery Rubrics. So for each unit, whenever we start a unit, I'm going to post in the module, the first module, I'm going to post the Mastery Rubric for that unit. So if we pull up the example, the example that I have shows you, and this is for the last unit that we did before the semester exam. All right, this is for nomenclature. So first thing at the top of the Mastery Rubric are the state standards that are covered through that unit. So we see for nomenclature, that last unit that we did before the semester exam, we have, two state standards that we covered. One of them is name ionic compounds containing main group transitional metals, covalent compounds, acids, bases, so on. All right. The other state standard was to write chemical formulas of ionic compounds containing representative elements, transitional metals, and so on. All right, so one of those state standards was about naming the compounds, and then the other state standard is about writing the chemical formulas. All right, so you should remember from the nomenclature unit, we started off with ionic compounds. We did naming ionic compounds, and then we learned how to write chemical formulas. Then we did covalent compounds, name them, learn how to write the chemical formula. So the next thing, and what I've done is I've created a rubric. For those state standards. All right, so we see here for the first one, naming ionic compounds. And you should have this opened up already in your Canvas. For each state standard, I will have a set of what I call essential questions. Those essential questions will be written over here on the left-hand side of the rubric. And then for each of the essential questions, I will have a set of mastery activities at each of the different levels. So we start off here at comprehension. Those ones are simple mastery activities. And then over here on the other side, evaluation and synthesis, those are more complex mastery activities. All right, so the essential questions are basically basic questions that relate to the topic. So this first one is naming ionic compounds. And so the essential questions are, how are ionic compounds named? How are covalent compounds named? And how are acids named? Those are the three essential questions for this state standard. So we'll look at that first one. How are ionic compounds named? If you are able to explain the rules of naming ionic compounds, without looking them up, of course, then you have mastered that essential question at the comprehension level. If you are able to identify the name of various ionic compounds, then you have mastered it at the application level. All right? And then if you're able to recognize ionic compounds from their names, you've mastered it at the analysis level. All right. Now, I've color-coded the level that you are aiming for will be green. So, if you are able to do this activity, then you have mastered at the correct level that the state says that's where you should be at the end of the unit. All right? The green. The one that's shaded green. Anything above that is like if it's the middle of the unit and you've already achieved application level, then you should be focusing on the analysis and evaluation levels. All right? So that you're not just sitting there doing nothing. All right? Now, so we see for the second one, writing chemical formulas, the same thing. We have our central questions, which are very basic. And then we have application level is our target level. Now, once we get to the review day before the test, I will post in the review module, I will post a self-reporting form that you will you'll analyze where you are and how ready for the test. All right, so go ahead, go back to the module for today and click on the self-check. Okay, so when you get to the test, the review day before the test, you'll have a self-check form to fill out so you can figure out, okay, how much do I need to study? What don't I know? Have I reached the level that I need to reach to be ready for the test? All right, so go ahead and open this up in Canvas. Open up the self-check, and I want you to do it for yourself. All right, go through, use the mastery rubric that's in Canvas, and you'll look at it and look at the mastery activity. For the question, how are ionic compounds named? If you are able to do the application activity without looking it up in Google, without looking through your notes, if you're able to do that without any help, you would mark, that's comprehension, you would mark application. If you are not able to do the comprehension level activity, you will click on no knowledge, and you better be studying for the test that evening. All right? If you can't even do the comprehension level activity the day before a test, then you've got a lot of work to do to be prepared for that test. So you would go through, you'd click on all of those, and then you would click submit. So this will give you a better idea of what you need to know and what you need to do in order to be prepared for the test. All right. Again, pay attention to that green section. Anything that's highlighted in green on the mastery rubric, that's where you want to be.